Wild animals and humans have often existed as hunter and hunted, or vice versa. Fear is often the first reaction when the two misunderstand each other. In few instances, though, animals whose lives were in danger bowed down to humans for help and never forgot to show gratitude. Here are the top 20 animals that asked people for help. This poor animal with a 12-inch knife in its head sought help from a diving instructor. Take a look as the amazing shark turns around and positions itself right in front of the instructor asking for help. Ironically, this nurse shark had been wounded by a human. Still, it trusted man to save its life. Thankfully, the diver managed to extract the blade from the shark's head. He even got to see it again and learn that the shark fully recovered. Perhaps the beast came back to the spot to thank its savior. In 2009, Brantley Harrison and her family discovered a squirrel that had been severely wounded by an owl and refused to let it die. Harrison took the squirrel in, named her Bella, and treated her for a whole 5 months until she regained full health. Eventually, it came time for Bella to go back home in the wild. She didn't forget her saviors. 8 years on, Bella finds time every day to visit the Harrisons, her extended, loving family. That's deep, huh? Show us some love by hitting the thumbs up sign as we bring you more stories of hunter-hunted compassion. Anna Husler, a passionate cyclist from Adelaide, stopped in her tracks during a recent ride. Anna was riding in a group when she spotted a koala in the middle of the road. As soon as Anna stopped her bike, the animal came running over to her. It was a hot day and she immediately offered the animal a drink from her water bottle. The marsupial climbed up on her bike and gulped down the life-saving drink. When Anna ran out of water, she asked her fellow cyclists for their bottles and left the adorable animal adequately hydrated. We've seen some big love out there, but they could only tell you about the biggest of feelings. The author of this video interacted with this cute animal for over a year, feeding it at their house. However, one day the fox suddenly refused to eat. Instead, it grabbed the food and signaled the human to follow it. The fox clearly had a plan. Notice the way it keeps stopping to check if the main friend is still following. And what a surprise ending! Turns out the fox had recently become a mom and had brought the human to meet the babies. The tiny dot you see approaching the boat is a squirrel. A squirrel in the water can only mean one thing: it is swimming for its life. Just like the shark, this little one is seeking help from humans. Notice how it desperately tries to get into the boat, almost sure people will do no harm. Wet, but adorable nonetheless, this creature showed no resistance when the fisherman picked it up. The squirrel even waved goodbye with its tail. We can only assume the funny animal will be back with some nuts. Host Richard Wish visited the UK's Abbotsbury Swanery. There he noticed an injured swan that had flown directly into a chain-link fence and hurt itself. Unwilling to let the swan continue to suffer, Wish took it upon himself to help the swan escape its unfortunate predicament. When Richard swept it into his arms, the swan surprisingly did not attack. She seemed to know she was in caring arms. Years later, Wish returned to that swanery and met the same swan. To his surprise, the bird seemed to recognize him and quickly hurried to embrace him. A wild raven perched itself on a fence and squawked for over an hour. The homeowner went to see what was up with him and was horrified. The bird had 4 porcupine quills stuck in him, 3 on the side of his face and 1 in his wing. This video shows the lady taking out the ones in his face. It's so surprising the bird let a human get that close. Even more shocking, he calmly let her pull the quills out. The grateful raven hung around for the day and was gone the next. Look at this video and you'll see why the woman pulled over. After she saw the most scared, cutest animal ever caught in a chain, this lady hurried to help out. Upon freeing the puppy, she decided to take him in and look after him. While driving home, her emotions got the better of her. The video shows the Good Samaritan crying as she continued to comfort the now relaxed dog. The pup keeps putting his paw on her hand and arm as if to save her from herself. When this penguin was just a tiny little baby, João Pierre de Souza found him covered in oil and near death on a Brazilian beach. Pierre could not just let the pigeon die. He took him in. Soon the penguin had made a full recovery and was released into the wild. Every year the penguin makes a 5,000-mile journey to meet the man who saved his life. You could see from the video just how moving the reunion gets. This is exactly what happened when a shark got tangled up in a fishing net. The big fish came so close to a boat with humans that it was obvious the giant needed human help. As the men worked cautiously to free it, the king of the seas waited patiently. Once the ropes were removed, it started swimming away and wagging its tail at the humans as if to say, "Thanks, mate, I owe you one." Indeed, saving an animal is humane. This funny animal was crossing the street during rush hour in the middle of busy Rio de Janeiro. This is a situation no animal wants to find itself in, more so a sluggish sloth. Luckily, one animal lover happened to stumble upon the creature and decided to help. The video shows the man getting out of his car and picking up the animal and hurrying across the road to hoist it up on a tree. Once the sloth is safe, the guy steps back and waves. It is not clear how many weeks it took for the sloth to smile and wave back, but it sure was a happy creep. In September of 2014, Liam Burrow encountered an apparently orphaned rhinoceros in South Africa's Kruger National Park. He described the 8-week-old calf as badly dehydrated, covered in wounds, and clearly in desperate search of shade. He and his fellow travelers let the exhausted rhino lie in the shade of their caravan and gave her water. They waited with her while rangers brought her to Care for Wild Africa, a nonprofit group that helps injured or orphaned wildlife. This little one is clearly not planning to ask for help. Instead, the wild animal is trying to get these fishermen's food supply. Amazingly, it doesn't run away when the owner of the bag appears. It just waits patiently, and check this out. The fox is not only helping itself to the food, it's taking it right from the human's hand. Such behavior can be explained by the fact that hunting for mice is more difficult when the ground is frozen. When she was just 5 years old, Abigail arrived at the Alice Springs Kangaroo Sanctuary. 10 years later, Abigail was a fully grown kangaroo, not to mention the unofficial queen of the sanctuary. Queen Abby was apparently gained a reputation at the sanctuary as the most affectionate animal, and it's pretty obvious to see why. Abigail is so grateful for the caretakers that have looked after her all this time that she insists on giving them a hug every single day. Sometimes, real-life heroes catch something much bigger than fish. These 3 bear cubs were crossing the river and unfortunately got separated from their mom. They had started losing the fight to the water when some humans went to the animal's rescue. All that was left for Mama Bear was to pick up her cubs where the fishermen left off. Even though bears have been known to kill humans for merely approaching their cubs, they are quite intelligent and can distinguish help from danger. That one fun animal fact saved everybody in this situation. When this young red fox got its head stuck in a jar, its animal instincts took a back seat as it sought a human hand. Instead of running away from the duo, it let one reach down and grab the jar. At first, it wriggled and twisted as though regretting its decision. Eventually, the man, who was wearing camouflage army-style clothing, was able to grab the fox by the scruff of its neck and pull the jar away. Yet another man-made threat to animals, but with a redeeming ending. This queen of the air approached humans because it was too sick to fly. Initially, it appeared so unwell it couldn't even eat fish. Fortunately, its condition quickly improved. The bird's appetite resumed, and it even warmed up to man. This did not happen overnight, of course. The full recovery took a whole month, a time within which the eagle would have died had it not asked for help. An injured elephant appeared to be seeking out humans for help after it was shot by a poacher. This act surprised Nick Milne and his guests in Zimbabwe, as seen in the photographs. Ben, a bull elephant, approached the Boomy Hills Safari Lodge, and the manager quickly noticed that it had a limp. On close inspection, he realized that it was severely injured. In the photos, the elephant is peeking in and appears to be seeking assistance. Unfortunately, there is no in-house veterinarian at the lodge, as he had gone away for the weekend. But the lodge surely got Ben some help the following day. Did you hear about the goat that got empowered? This footage is slightly heartbreaking, but with a happy ending. But first, do us a favor. Click that like button to inspire us. Subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell and you won't miss any interesting videos. Done then? Let's go. Clinging onto a ladder, the goat knows its life depends on it. The rescue team frees the goat, but the animal doesn't leave the dreaded scene. It sticks around, looking back at its saviors as if trying to bleat thank you. More importantly, we need to remember that only a few of these issues are caused by nature itself. In most cases, when animals are in danger, it's due to human activity. When one Edgardo saw a baby condor fall from its nest in Argentina, he knew that he couldn't just sit and do nothing. Edgardo took the birdie in as his own, nursing it back to health, and then returned it to its home in the wild. But wait, there's more. Years later, Edgardo returned to meet the condor that he saved as a baby, and to his surprise, the bird seemed to recognize him. The video shows the condor, wings spread, approaching Edgardo as if for a hug. Which one melted your heart? Have you saved any animals lately? Tell us you plan to start doing differently in the comments section. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comments section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take care of yourself.